Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Kairos Summit. I'm Wayne King, CEO of Infomedia Systems Group, and I'll be your presenter today for Building Scalable Technology Solutions for Global Business Models. I know we've got a very short time today, so let's get started. I'm so glad to be with you today to talk about a topic so relevant in today's business environment. With today's level of technology, more and more businesses are adopting a global model and need to ensure that their technology solutions scale to meet the requirements of this business model. I would first like to provide a short introduction of my company, Infomedia Systems Group, before we get into the heart of the presentation. So again, I'm Wayne King. I'm CEO of Infomedia Systems Group. I'm also one of the founding members of the Black Business Council of Canada. What Infomedia Systems Group does is we provide we're cloud solutions and consulting firm. We have a pool of very qualified, certified specialists, and we provide technology solutions to small, medium businesses, and in some cases, very large and enterprise businesses as well. So what do we offer? We offer global business solution expertise. We offer managed services to certain clients. We specialize in business class cloud productivity solutions, as well as unified communications, cybersecurity, and data privacy. One of the other lines of business that we've just started is also in the online training for business services, as well as technology services. I'd also like to give a little shameless plug to the Black Business Council of Canada, which is going to have its formal launch next month. The vision of the Black Business Council is to increase the presence of Black businesses and professionals in key industries across Canada. Again, we're going to be launching next month, and I hope you come and check us out. So let's get down to the core of the presentation. So I've broken my presentation down into about 8 tips. However, I'd like to go over 2 important points before we review these tips. So in today's environment, when building a technology system for global business models, do not be afraid to go virtual using platforms like AWS or Azure. The ROI on these solutions is typically significantly higher than the historic internal data center model if done right. And again, we stress if done right. So you basically have to design your solution to work in this type of virtual environment. The historical way that organizations have basically done global solutions by building data centers across the world and then independent applications, I think we can get a better ROI by now using a centralized virtual type of solution. Also, don't be afraid to change your management style. With the increase in remote technologies and remote workers across the globe, it's important to recognize that there will be less direct supervision. It's important to move to a more deliverable-based style of management. So with that said, let's move on to the different tips. So tip number 1, take an overall global view of your solutions. Take a holistic view of your solutions, look at the big picture instead of individual localizations, and try to build a solution that works for all users. So, and when I say all users, I mean all users across all geographies that you're working in, all geographies, all languages, etc. Also, consider implications across your pipeline. Aside from user considerations, which we just talked about, consider implications for your entire developer and integration pipeline. So when I say developer and integration pipeline, I mean, so your core set of application technology developers and your integration pipeline. So also all the solutions that you will be connecting to the solution or solutions that you will be building. It's important, very, very important that everything works well together. Tip number 2, make sure your new solutions adhere to your overall strategy. So you should have an overall global strategy. Make sure your solutions adhere to that global strategy. New solutions should not interfere with any of your core strategy. So if you have a core strategy right now, or if you're building one, make sure any of your new solutions that you're building fit within that strategy and are not detrimental to the strategy. Your new solutions should also complement your existing solutions. So for any of the existing solutions you have, don't build or implement solutions unless they're also going to complement those solutions and not become a detriment or work counter to your existing solutions. And then avoid solutions that duplicate existing functionality unless necessary. I've seen organizations where they have 10 different solutions which do exactly the same thing. What you want to do is try and minimize that. Have one solution which fits into your global model and which addresses all of your users. Move on to tip number 3, focus on the essentials. So basically the solution should meet your requirements and you should evaluate new technologies for tangible benefits. So what we mean by this is the solution that you're developing or solutions that you're developing for what you should develop them for what your organization requires and not just implement new cool technology. So don't just adopt new technologies because they're new. They should show some tangible benefit to the solution and the organization. Too many times I've seen organizations see something in a demo or someone reads an article and then they decide that they have to use this new technology. Even though it may not meet any requirements or provide any tangible benefits to the organization. So you really want to avoid any of these extraneous types technologies or solutions, etc. Focus on what you really need, the essentials to get to meet your strategy. Tip number 4, have a data unification strategy. So we want to make sure that all of our core data is available to all of our satellite systems. So what we mean by this is all solution interactions should be based on the same data, personalized to the different locations. What we don't want to see is disparate sets of data which are not working with a core set of data. What you get then is you have basically essentially different systems which now have to be maintained, monitored, etc. What we want is everyone in our geographic or different jurisdictions working from one core set of data. What we also recommend is using technologies such as business intelligence, AI, and machine learning, which can help to standardize and automatically personalize interactions with a solution. So what we want is a standardized way to interact with our solution across all of our geographic jurisdictions. Tip number 5. We want to make sure everything is connected. So any solution or scalable solution that we're building should not and cannot work in isolation with other solutions, existing or new. We can gain valuable business intelligence just by studying the interactions of these systems, and also by making sure that we work in a connected fashion. It actually increases your return on investment and makes it easier to use for your users. Another thing to be aware of, and to make sure, another reason why making sure everything should be connected, is now users expect it. Users will be using different methods of equipment, methods of accessing the technology solution. Different ways to interact with your solution could be laptop, mobile phones, voice, etc. So we now work in a connected world. Users expect to be able to accomplish tasks across these systems and devices. For instance, if a user is, say, booking their leave in a leave application, there's the expectation that it communicates with the HR system and that they can use different devices such as their phone, their laptop, etc. Tip number 6, place a priority on users. Your solution isn't any good if your users don't use it. What we want to do is place an emphasis on usability. This lowers the time to proficiency. So what we mean by that is if your solution is more usable, it's easier for the users to use, and it's much quicker for them to become proficient with the solution, which again increases your return on your investment on building that solution, and also increases the productivity of your users. And that's what we're trying to get at. The second part of placing the priority on users is not basically on your end users, but actually on the users internal to your workforce. Everything's internal to your workforce, but I mean tech users, so say your developers and your business users. So your developers, you want to basically hire and train good developers using the technologies that your organization's using, and you want to maintain that level of expertise that they have so that they can build these solutions to fit your strategy. Now, from the business user standpoint, what we want to do is also maintain a good level of technological awareness among your business users, so that once you roll out some of these larger global solutions, they have basically no trouble in adopting to the solution and they're productive right away. Tip number 7, ensure proper monitoring and feedback. So it is critical to monitor the system to ensure that it meets all of its technical requirements as well as organizational expectations. So what we mean by that is, monitor to make sure that, your SLAs are being met, that, there's no technological downtime caused by, databases or bugs in the system, etc. So that's from the technological side of it. Also monitor the fact monitor your users. Make sure that the adoption rate is there. And if it's not there, find out why it's not there, right? Make sure that the users basically are interacting with the system and make sure they're interacting well. Now, to work along with that, what we want to do is look at some feedback systems. Feedback systems right now are actually fairly easy to implement within your whole technology solution. And they can provide some invaluable input on how well the system is achieving its goals and its repeat with the users. It also has the secondary benefit of allowing you to have continuous feedback from your users. Whereas before we were sort of limited to focus groups, that type of thing, and very scheduled feedback to our systems. Now we can have continuous feedback, which allows us to continually improve our solution. Let's go to tip number 8. Adhere to local laws and regulations. This is actually extremely important. As you move into more of a global business model and you are using your solutions in multiple countries, it's important to recognize that operating in multiple countries raises the complication of having to adhere to different laws and regulations regarding data privacy and data usage, and also data storage. A good example of that is GDPR. Once that got adopted, basically everyone had to adjust to it. So each country and in some cases, even provinces and states within countries are now adopting their own form of, say, GDPR or data privacy and usage laws. We need to be very cognizant and stay abreast of those laws. What we recommend is we use tools such as Vox Data Vista to help ensure compliance for yourself, your own organization, but also your entire supply chain, because you are responsible for if you're putting out something in a particular country, your supply chain, you need to know if they're also compliant as well. So now I have some final thoughts on building scalable technology solutions for global business models. Building a scalable technology solutions for global business is not an easy task. With everything that you have to be aware of, some of the points that we've just gone over, you can see that it's a very large task and can be very complicated. I would recommend that you find trusted partners, either internal or external, to help. Internal would be all the different geographic locations, departments, et cetera, within your company to help when you're developing the application, make sure that you're addressing all of the requirements. From an external standpoint, this would include local businesses and government agencies in your geographic jurisdictions. I would engage them to help with things like laws, regulations, procurement, et cetera. We ourselves use these type of partners to very great effect. So I believe that's my time for today. And I would like to thank you for, one, attending on this session and also for attending the Kairos Summit. I hope you have a great week at the summit. Attend as many sessions as you can. I know we've got some really great speakers. And I hope you have a great week. If you do want to contact me, I have my contact information up on this final slide. Please feel free to contact me using any method that you'd like. And again, have a great day. Have a great summit. Thank you.